Morning everyone, Brian here, YTCSC, YouTube Celtic Supporters Club. Hope we're all doing well. Got your breath back after that yesterday. You're doing better than me. We went down to Kilmarnock on a plastic pitch, go 2-0 down, and then somehow we walk away with 3 points. 97th minute drama. Martin O'Neill having to pull the strings and use the bench. Should have started with that finishing 11, and our title race is absolutely going to the wire. So let's break it down. So yeah, yesterday's match at Rugby Park, absolute heart-stopper. We managed to pull off a sensational 3-2 comeback victory against Kilmarnock, keeping ourselves in the title fight. But as always, we always make it so hard for ourselves. First half was an absolute horror show, one of the worst performances I've seen from Celtic. We go 2-0 down. Tyrese John Jules putting a great strike home from a tight angle, but it came from a Kilmarnock breakaway, 2 versus 4, trusty defensive lapse, and then no one puts pressure on any of the Kilmarnock players. We have the numbers, but yeah, John Jules, who was probably Kilmarnock's best player yesterday, great big player, calls home a great finish and a tight angle. Then 6-7 minutes later, Joe Hugo doubles the lead with a looping header over Kasper Schmeichel. Another defensive disaster. No strength from Scales. Trusty McGregor tries to make a clearance. It goes back into the box, and then Schmeichel's, I don't know where he is. He's all over the place. So yeah, 2-0 Kilmarnock, and then it was a case of trying to make sure they didn't score another one and try and get into the second half. Or trying to get a half-time 2-0 down. Kilmarnock were clinical. We couldn't find a rhythm. We couldn't string a pass together. We had a lot of possession, as always, 58% in the first half to Kilmarnock's 42. Kilmarnock had 6 shots in total, 3 on target. We had 5, 2 on target. 2 big chances to Kilmarnock, 2 goals for Kilmarnock. We had no clinical finishing, no cutting edge. Kilmarnock didn't really need much of the ball. They kind of had 3 shots on target in the first half and scored 2 of them. Really efficient. The first half was characterised by our lack of a killer instinct, lack of cohesion with the players, calamities, defensive all over the place. Hesitating in the first goal, John Jules just to kind of cut back in and just slide that a great finish into the corner. We had a great chance in the 27th minute. Daisen Maeda fires a low shot from kind of penalty spot out and then blocked on the line by Dom Thompson. Despite having nearly 60% of possession, we were passing side to side. Usual Adamu, Yang, absolutely anonymous, leading to the substitution at the break, and that was where the first half finished. Easily on top. We had nothing to show for our first half possession. Yeah, one of the worst performances from Celtic this season. Had to make some changes. We take off Yang for Taneke, Hatate for Oxlade-Chamberlain, and then Adamu comes off for Big Tam, Vankara. And then we start the second half better. We looked a little bit more direct. Taneke, who should have started, in my opinion. Let us know what you think in the comments. He definitely should have started. He's been on form, coming off the bench for us in previous games. So yeah, so you kind of got to ask about the management team, O'Neill, Maloney, what they're doing there. But yeah, we started the second half a lot brighter, and then we get the lifeline in 56 minutes. Taneke again, cutting in from the left, smashing an absolute belter of a shot, 25-yard, culling effort right into the far corner, and that gives us a lifeline, and we've got plenty of time to kick on. And then we pen Kilmarnock back, we keep driving. I thought that Oxlade-Chamberlain in midfield with McGregor, it really helped McGregor. He seemed to kind of pick up balls, get passes forward, let McGregor mop up the work. Whereas in the first half with Hatate just gets in the way. I think it's not just me that'll be saying this, it'll be a lot of other Celtic fans. His time's up. He's done amazing for Celtic, been a great servant, scored some great goals in Europe and against Rangers. Not saying anything disparaging about him in his Celtic career, but that's what, 4 years he's been there, 22 I think, 21, 22. So yeah, 4 or 5 years he's done great for Celtic, but I think it's time to move on. Probably should have maybe looked for a replacement in January. And then in 64 minutes, absolute defensive calamity for Kilmarnock, who were brilliant in the first half. Long throw in, bit of head tennis, ball bounces, and it just lands for Negrin a yard out, and he's not going to miss there. Boom. And then we kept pushing Kilmarnock back, and then we finally get the winner. Julian Araujo, final second of stoppage time, smashing home from close range to scenes, absolute limbs as they call it, trigger wild celebrations in the Celtic fans. I have to give a note to Kvankara. He kept pushing, kept dropping deep. I think he does a lot better in that side of things than we had with Johnny Kenny. He's a nice wee turn. His first touch kind of gets it out his feet, and he gives himself a bit of space to fire it across, and it goes to Araujo, who smashes it on his left foot, but put it top right hand corner for the winner. Unbelievable scenes, celebrations from the Celtic fans. So yeah, but once again, we leave it late, we make it hard for ourselves. I'd rather we, done all our work in the first 45, first 60 minutes, then you make your changes and you kind of look to kind of see the game out. Interesting to see the total possession stats. We finished the game on 61% possession. We had 25 shots with 10 on target. From the first half, where we had 5, we put in another 20 shots in the second half. 400% increase for the first half. 7 corners. Our XG went up to 2.89 if you're into that sort of stuff. So yeah, a far better performance in the second half, but didn't have to be that way. You know what I mean? We've got the players that are stronger in Kilmarnock. On paper, we should be beating these teams, but we just make it hard for myself. And I think, controversial, but I think the team selection and the first half lineup contributed to that. So yeah, so 96 winner, we're loving it. Kept himself in the title race, but obviously Neil McCann, the Kilmarnock manager, was not happy at all. It's always the same. Oh, I don't know where they got the time from, etc. He actually came out and said it himself. I'm not quite sure where they got the 7 minutes from. They seem to just make it up these days. I'd love to know how they got to it. I can't work it out. He says, I think John Jules was maybe a couple of minutes when he came off. Dom Thompson was down with his head, maybe 1.5 minutes. So that's 3.5 minutes he's just admitted to. I don't know where to get the 7 from. Okay, so we make the 3 changes at half time. We made another 2 changes. Forrest coming on for Maida, Sarachi coming on for Tierney. I thought should have started. Let us know what you think in the comments. If Sarachi should have started over Tierney. I was saying to my boy, why don't we put Tierney at left centre back? Give the boy Arthur a shot, but I can understand the reasoning behind bringing in the new boy at the back, but can't be any worse than Austin Trusty or Liam Scales. There was a incident in the second half, or maybe the first half actually. Young Finlay Curtis, a boy on loan from Rangers, not a big physical presence at all, and he had a tussle with Scales, and he just kind of held off Scales in the box, and then managed to get a shot by the left-hand post of Schmeichel. And you're like, what happened there? Why is that happening? So yeah, that's a worry. The physicality in the back. We always seem to struggle against big, strong defenders. But going back to the Neil McCann's comments, so yeah, so we make another 2 substitutions. Kilmarnock themselves make another 5 substitutions in the second half, all before we scored a goal. So they brought in Shabola for Finlay Curtis in 63, Jack Thompson for Greg Kiltie in 79, Polwer for Watson in 79, Anderson for Hugo in 79, and then Deckers for Tyrese John Jules. So that's where the 7 minutes come from. We're not making this stuff up here. It's like the referee comes out and brings it. There's been numerous games I've been to where you're thinking, that's easy, 5 or 6 with the substitutions and injuries, etc., and then 2 minutes get through up. So, as always, Neil McCann, ex-Rangers, ex-Hearts, anti-Celtic, Chris Boyd, giving it, we'll just put up the board until Celtic score. That's basically questioning the integrity of the referees. I'm not a referee fan. I don't know, allegations of kind of Rangers bias, etc. It's ripped through Scottish football for a lot of years. We've seen some horrible decisions, but the minutes are there. You know, there was 7 substitutions in the second half, injuries, etc. So from Neil McCann's comments, he was saying he can account for 3.5, and then he's like, I don't know where to get the 7 from. There's 7 substitutions, injuries, etc. So yeah, he also was obviously disappointed at losing the game, and they've got to manage it. He said he's got to manage the game out, and that's what he's most angry about. Ultimately walked away with nothing, and I believe we deserve something. I have to agree, from our point of view, we were lucky to go into the second half 2-0, but you've still got to defend the lead. You've still got to keep us out. You know, it's obviously a bit of pill to swallow for Kilmarnock as they dominated the first 45 minutes. So yes, I can get where he's coming from, disappointing, and he believes he deserves something, and I can take that point. I can understand that, but you've still got to stop the goals, and you've still got to stop us trying to make the chances. So yeah, so a bit of comment on our late goal habit. A lot of the papers and the kind of websites are coming out to say we're heavily reliant on late drama, and as you can see, the last 3 or 4 games, that's been happening, and it's not sustainable at all. We need to be picking the right starting 11 to kind of dominate games. I thought we looked a lot better with Tineke. I thought we looked a lot better with Oxlade-Chamberlain in the midfield with McGregor and with Big Thomas. Why don't we try 2 up front? We need the big man coming deep, some midfield runners. We need more of that. Oxlade-Chamberlain has great game intelligence, football IQ. He knows what he's got great experience. Can he provide that? Can't be anonymous in the first half and then great in the second half. It needs to be more consistent. We have to get our strongest 11 on the pitch to kind of put teams away rather than having to rely on late drama. Also thought the big guy, Tyrese John-Jules, great big player. He's Kilmarnock's top player at the moment. Kilmarnock had a lot of good players yesterday. The young boy Curtis from Rangers, I thought, played well, and I thought the big man deserves all his credit. Obviously, Hearts losing 4-2 to Rangers yesterday. Massive victory for Rangers at Ibrox. And that's basically the total three-way title race. It's going to go to the wire. We've got Hearts after the split. We've got to play Rangers twice. We cannot lose the Rangers game at Ibrox. We cannot lose that. A draw we would take a draw. We cannot lose that. We cannot lose any ground because this will go to the wire. So yeah, we're sitting third. 54 points. Rangers are on 55. Hearts are on 57. We have that game in hand against Aberdeen on the 4th of March up at Pittodrie, which, without repeating myself, is a must-win too. All games are cup finals. Yeah, so let us know what you think in the comments about yesterday's game, guys. Who was your star man? Who was an absolute nightmare? Who would you have started, etc. So yeah, looking at the players from yesterday, I thought Araujo, it was a game of 2 halves. Martin O'Neill kind of jibed him on his wee post-match about asking about his first half performance, but there was no real standouts for Celtic at all in the first half. Thought Nygren had a quiet start, but he was very instrumental in the second half. He was there for the equaliser, and he was a threat in the box, and I think across most of the media outlets he gets the highest rating. Araujo obviously being the hero of the match. He was criticised for his position in the first half. His contribution going forward was a real positive for us in the second half. His long throw in causes a confusion in the box with Kilmarnock and leads to the equaliser, and it was a great finish for a winner. You know, he's a right back, and he smashes it on his left foot. A lot of players can get caught up in that and try and sense the glory before the ball even comes to you and balloon it over the bar. So I thought Araujo was good, and Tineke, super sub. He should have started. He really changed the game for us instantly on the second half. He always cut us in right in it. His strike was an absolute belter, let's be honest. He scored a few crackers, but that was a brilliant strike. And it was a great time and all to help us kick on. You know, 55, 56 minutes gives us enough belief to kick on and ultimately win the game. I thought McGregor was a lot better in the second half. I'm always critical of Callum McGregor. That's just my opinion. He's not that Scott Brown. He's not that driving force that kind of drags his team with the scruff of the neck and drags the game with the scruff of the neck. If that was a Scott Brown, he would have been giving it to Scales and Trusty absolute stinking. So yeah, and I thought the Ox done all right. He came in at the break and he kind of dictated the tempo and kind of helped McGregor in the midfield. Going on to the kind of negatives, the half-time casualties, Yang was an absolute nightmare. He lost his man for the build-up to Kilmarnock's second goal, missed a massive opportunity to put the ball in at the back shortly after that. Hatate, I know a lot of people were like Hatate before. I saw other channels have mentioned about it. Hatate's kind of time's up, but he's obviously no one to be there anymore or whatever. Or, he's kind of looking outside. He's a kind of more of a peripheral figure now. He just kind of seems to float about the midfield, getting in people's way. Didn't even have a single shot or create a big chance at all in the first half. Should we have replaced him in January? Let us know what you think in the comments. Are we being too harsh on Hatate? Someone that's served as well, or is his time up? I think Maeda as well, he had the chance the 27th minute, never put it away. You've got to pick a spot. You just hit it after the defender. So that's another one that didn't really do too well. Adamu, maybe not as ineffective there, but he kind of seemed to kind of float about it. I don't know if he was he was struggling with the physicality of Kilmarnock centre-backs, and he didn't really get his hold up the ball well for us and get us out of the half. So yeah, so Adamu, that'll be an interesting learning point for him. The Scales, Trusty, oh Jesus man, talk about a tough afternoon. Scales, his poor clearance led to the pressure for the second goal. He just passes it right to the guy. Out jumped by Hugo. Strength against Finlay Curtis. Trusty, who easily beaten all the time. I've been to a lot of games this season, and he gets it tight for not being that strong presence. Gets it too for not putting his body on the line. Schmeichel as well. Was quite slack. He made 5 saves in total, but the positioning for the Hugo second goal was all over the place. And he has struggled in certain games, and Scales as well. Yeah. What do you think about that? Groups, does it feel like a turning point, or are we kind of on the ropes and just kind of managing to kind of fight back as best as you can? What do you think of the subs? Was the 7 minutes of added time fair, or was Neil McCann right to be raging? I don't think so. Let me know in the comments. Thanks as always for your support. If you could help us out, like and share the video, get us up the subscriber count. We're looking to hit 1888 before 2088. So yeah, so thanks very much for your support, and we'll catch you on Wednesday for a Stuttgart preview. Hail, hail.